Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to speak to you about a cornerstone of personal development and success, self-commitment. At its core, self-commitment is the unwavering dedication to yourself, to your growth, your goals, and your journey. It's about making promises to yourself and following through with actions that align with your deepest aspirations. Self-commitment means prioritizing your well-being, your ambitions, and your values above all else. It requires resilience in the face of challenges and the courage to stay true to your path even when doubts arise. Today, I challenge you to embrace the power of self-commitment, to set clear intentions for your life, and to take consistent actions that honor the promises you make to yourself. When you're committed, you show it by what you do. You can tell who is committed by how busy they are doing it. The people who are committed won't believe you. The people who don't think they deserve it. Like the guy I talked to last night who said, "Hey, I really like what you're doing, but I don't want the burden. The business where I work takes good care of me." I'm going to tell you something. It will be impossible for you to say that someone is taking care of you once you boost your sense of value. You need to look after yourself. That's because he doesn't think he's good enough. He knows a lot. I worked for a big company for 17 years. They've spent a lot of money to train him. He knows what he knows from the books, but his attitude is based on how he sees himself and how much he thinks he deserves something. "You can't have that," says this. He will come up with a lot of reasons why he can't have it. Something was said by Robert Anthony. Anthony Roberts said that in life, you can only have two things, thoughts or outcomes. Take note that reasons don't matter. That's nice. People will always give reasons for not achieving their greatness or living their dreams. They can always bring those things up. But those things don't matter. Results are the only thing that matters. Ladies and gents, results don't lie. They say everything. Just look at the fruit that a tree produces, not the ones that it talks about, hopes for, thinks about, or affirms about. Just look at the fruit that it produces. Let's take a look. Even though I think we're all dedicated, I think some of us are making things happen in our lives that we really don't like or find unpleasant because we're so committed. I don't see why you can't be committed when you're living your life. Either you're committed to being average or you're committed to being great. You are either determined to get things done or determined not to get things done. You either really want to be happy or really want to be sad. You can tell a lot about yourself by what you do and how you spend your time. Now think about what you want to make happen in your life. I can tell exactly what you're committed to once I look at how you spend your time. Some people say they have dreams, want to start a business, or want to do something different from what they're doing now. They're unhappy and unfulfilled because they don't like their work. Anyone who says they want to make more money should really look at how they spend their time. How they use the time they have committed to will really show you the truth. People who said, "I'd like to do better," but you don't find them in vocational or technical schools improving their skills and knowledge. If you look at how they spend their time, you can figure out what's going on. People say they want to be healthy and get their weight back to normal, but you can always tell because they're eating. You can tell that they're set on being fat for the rest of their lives. At that very moment, people who say they want to stop smoking light up. People who say, "I want to stop drinking," but smell like they've been drinking every time you see them will tell you what's going on. You don't have to pay attention to what they say. It shows up in your life and in what you do. You can also take responsibility for your life and say that you don't like the way things are going and that you will change them. Keep in mind that we can all use power. People who look at their lives and say, "I want something different for myself." Hey, Carol Hatfield. Carol is a single mother who lives in Detroit. She wanted to start her own business, but didn't have the money to do so. She wished she had a store that sold healthy foods. She sold her car and used the money to open a small shop in a hole in the wall. She took a bike to work. Then when she had enough cash, she bought a motorcycle and rode it for a long time. She has done really well for herself now. She now has 3 shops that sell healthy foods. She said it was tougher to not fight as much. She said, "But I did it." She said, "I promised to do it and I kept my word." Why do people get scared when they have to commit? Because a lot of people feel scared when you say the word commitment. Why? Because you have to deliver. See, most people do what you ask them to do. They'll say, "I'll try." I'll try means that's how I can get out of something. It's really a nice no when I don't show up. I'm afraid to say no to you. That's why I say I try. I need you to come to this meeting. I do my best. I ask, what do you mean you're going to lean toward the meeting? Sit down. It's either true or false. Take this pencil away from me. It's either true or false. Try is not a word. That's why most people like that language. Because dedication means, among other things, no excuses are okay. They don't want to make one. That's what it means. No reason. You should do this even if it gets hard if you've already chosen to do it. What does it matter if it's hard? What does it matter if it's inconvenient? It's true that many people promised to come here tonight, but when they looked outside, they saw that it was raining and extremely cold, and they decide not to keep their promise. That's what people do with their dreams. They don't keep the promise they made to themselves. Now, let me tell you what happens when you break your promise. To begin with, it lowers your self-esteem and makes you feel bad about yourself. It makes you doubt yourself more. It's not fun to break promises. Another thing is that your relationships with other people start to get weak. Folks start to understand that they can't count on you. You won't keep your word, so they can't count on you. You have built up that kind of image. Think about what your life would be like if you stuck to what you said you would do. Why should we keep our promises? What would our lives be like if we did? It was our choice to follow through on the things we said we would do. We wouldn't even say them unless we meant to do them. We could try it out for a week to see what your life would be like. Let's make a promise. I won't say I'll do anything unless I actually do it for 7 days. Then I'll see what my life is like after that. I'll tell you something. At the end of the 7 days, you'll feel strong and powerful if you stick to your plan. Because every time you keep your promise, it gives you strength to do whatever discipline you need to do. For starters, I want you to make a promise to live in the present. I saw Robin Williams' movie, The Dead Port Society, and there was a line that said, "Seize the moment." That's because many of us spend too much time thinking about the past or the future, and not enough time moving forward and becoming great. Take advantage of the chance. You see, you can't see into the future, and make your greatness come true if there are many things in your life that are stopping you. Let's figure out how to start keeping our promises, keeping in mind what Dr. Robert Anthony said about the results. There are different kinds of effects you can get in your life when you keep your promises. So how are we going to keep our word? And do we keep all of our promises? We don't know. You won't be 100%. You will, however, have a higher chance of keeping the promises you make to yourself, no matter what they are. If it's starting a business, breaking a bad habit, stopping doing things that hurt yourself, changing the way you think, reinventing yourself, or trying to change the way your relationship works, here are some things you can do. Every one of us has a chance. We have the power to keep our promises in those areas if we really focus and concentrate on them. First, make it a goal. See, you wouldn't get on an airplane if you thought your chances of getting where you're going were as good as your purse. Am I right? This is because the airline, which I'm glad they do, has made it a goal to get people safely from one place to another, not send you off to Boston or somewhere else with your bags. This is why you will get to your destination more often than your bags will. That's why I'm not too upset when my bags don't show up. I'm glad they gave me because they cared about me. You can see that they care about getting you where you need to go. If you want to keep your promise, make sure that whatever you choose to do is important and ranks high on your list of priorities. Keep it in front of you. Also, whatever you want to do or start to make will help you become more committed and realize your greatness. It's a form of will exercise. On your goal, find something you want to do. Take one step forward, but make sure it pushes you and makes you think, yes, I can do that. I finally made up my mind to work out this year. At first, I did 10 sets of 10 and 10 push-ups. I'm sure I can handle that without getting upset. That's something I can do, not thinking about it. I begin small. I've reached 50 now, but if I had tried to do 50 at the start, I wouldn't be making it. So I broke it up into pieces that I could handle. If you do that, your will gets stronger. So the fact that I'm actually doing it serves to strengthen my commitment. I can now grow and build from that's it. When I chose to change how I handled my money, I started saving 5% of it. Then I raised it to 10% and then to 15%. I have now trained myself to live on 75% of what I earn. It took self-control to do that, but I started keeping an eye on how my money was being spent. I start to write things down and keep track of myself. So you need to start looking for something that you can handle and that you know you can start to keep. Keep the promises you make to yourself and find friends who will hold you responsible and not let you off the hook. These friends should only expect the best from you and will support you in your new way of being and state of mind. Another important thing is to have a plan B. When you promise to do something, there are often other things that will happen that you can't control or that you didn't think about. That's why you want to make other plans. Your goal is to be more creative. You see, most people don't keep their promises because they quit when things go wrong. They have no backup plan, so they don't know what to do next. Don't think of new ideas if you give yourself a task. We say, I don't know what to do a lot. And I always ask myself, what would you do less if you knew? That makes a different part of my mind work. I start to think about what might be possible and try different things. But a huge number of us stop right there. I'm lost. You already know what to do. Your mind is very smart. Put yourself to the test. Do your best. You need to think of something. Think outside the box. You will learn that you know more than you think and that you are smarter, more creative, and more capable than you understand. And as you do that, it will get easier over time. Things are going to be hard at first. When you reach a certain level of awareness, you'll wonder why you didn't see this before, given how well you're running your business now. What they say is that consciousness is what we are. It's like I look at myself and wonder why I didn't do this before. How come I didn't see this before? And the reason I didn't see it before was because I didn't push myself or leave myself open. That's why most of us live our lives never realizing how great we really are. We're like living, breathing corpses. Being careless is not a good way to live. Why? Since it doesn't make anything. You only make things happen. Only your life matters. Make a promise with your life that you will do something that will make a difference. People who commit their lives to their customers, their families, and their relationships are the ones who have the most effect on the world. What is making a promise? When someone commits, they say, look, I'm going to make $1,000 today, and I'm not going home. The lights can be turned off. The cleaners might be taking care of the vacuum right now. I'm staying here until I finish it. In the past, I sold things by going door to door. I had a certain number of TVs. I knew I had to sell at least a certain amount every day to take care of my sick mother, who had lost her job as a cafeteria worker at M&M's because of arthritis. I told them I would go door to door. And some nights, I wouldn't get home until 1 a.m. after banging on people's doors and hearing them close. What do you need? Would you like to buy a nice TV for the working month? Not at all. Put some money down? Not at all. How about an Emerson TV? No, thank you very much. Do you know anyone else who might be interested? Not at all. Thank you very much. Hit someone else. Hey there, are you interested in buying a nice TV that works? Not at all. Put some money down? Not at all. Stay away from our door. Thank you very much. Do you know anyone else who would be? Yes, my cousin. He lives 2-2. Thank you very much. When I hear, I tell him you sent me. I heard that you wanted to buy a TV from your cousin who told me to come talk to you. We have a great deal for you. Come on in. I'm interested. I would just keep going. I wasn't going to leave until I finished it. It's interesting that when we say we're going to do something, we put ourselves in a different state where the universe reacts to us. For example, the universe responds to the person who refuses to give up. This is because your commitment, the business you want, the book you want to write, and your dream of controlling your own destiny are all yours. You have the power to make them happen. That being said, you have to be ready to face disappointment, not have anyone to lean on, be alone, sometimes question yourself, be turned down over and over again, even go bankrupt if you have to, and refuse to turn around until life gives up. When someone is that committed, nothing can stop them. These are the people who have changed the world. When a John F. Kennedy said, "We will go to the moon in the next 10 years," that was a promise. And many people saw the same thing. That was believed by many. There have been many times in history when people made promises and vowed to do everything they could to make a change. Today, some people are standing up against hunger. I promise it will be a part of our history. Someone spoke out against polio at some point. We don't have to deal with it as much as we used to because someone promised to wipe it off the face of the earth. The promise that got us here and lets us enjoy the freedom we have was made by someone. Someone promised that I would remember Paul Roberson no matter what, even if it meant dying. I can't do anything else but stand here. That's how you need to be. When you're committed, you protect your own life. It means being proud of who you are. To say this means to start to see and understand that you are in tune with the world and that you are the way for life to speak through you. But we short it out with anger. We break it down with fear. We short it out with jealousy. We miss the mark because we were lazy, uninterested, or quick to give up. Why, ladies and gentlemen, we don't test our spirit? The human spirit is much stronger than anything else. It can't be broken. You may change it, but you cannot destroy it. Vic Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning was what I was reading. What a strong book. It's the 7th time I've read it. He also gives a lot of powerful examples of how strong people are. So, what are some things that can strengthen us and give us the inner power to make our promises come true and move forward into the future? First, dedication can mean things like going back to school, getting training, and taking classes with people younger than you. Putting yourself in a situation where you don't know what to do is awkward and uncomfortable, but it doesn't matter because you're determined to improve yourself or go back to school to get a high school diploma or a college degree. You might feel stupid and ask yourself, what am I doing here, getting ready for a dull class? There are various meanings of the word commitment. It could mean you start to go back. You need to back up. It can mean to get back up and try again after being knocked down by life. In the time I worked on my dream, I lost my house more than once. I lost my car at one point. I had no money. It was bad for me. There were times when I slept on the couch or the floor at friends' houses. On occasion, I slept on the floor of my office for months at a time. I got dressed and got up early before my staff arrived, so they thought I got there before them. Of course, we all act like we didn't know that the boss was still in the office. We didn't talk about it then, but I said no. I wasn't going to give up on my dream. What happened? People say that when times are good, you put the money in your pocket, and when times are bad, you put it in your heart. It makes me value it even more. Even more. I'm not going to trade it. It's something I would never trade. If you want to avoid the disappointment and pain I went through by following my promise, you might have to take a stand that not many people agree with. Someone once said that when you take a stand, you should be brave and ask yourself if it's safe. Is it popular? That's what politics is all about. But morality or a strong sense of duty makes you ask, is it right? And you can see that most people would rather work from the first two. Is this a safe place for me to be? I remember seeing men and women who really believed in laws when I was a state lawmaker. They gave up though, because the leader of the House said no. They felt bad about it. They didn't want to get in trouble with the House Speaker, so they didn't take the job. It was important to them that everything was okay with the rest of our co-workers. You really need to be very brave and dedicated to cross a line. Henry David Thoreau once said that if a person doesn't keep up with his friends, it could be because he's following a different drummer. There is no right or wrong way for him to dance to the music he hears. When you're set on something, you're not dancing to the same drum beat. Don't think that people will understand you. Don't think anyone will understand it. Why you have to do this, why you have to leave, why you have to go. You did a good job. Leaving. You get paid well. Leaving. You'll be retired soon. Leaving. Why? I don't get it. It's not necessary. I'm going after myself because I've made a different promise with my life. I need to do this. Promise. It means standing up for something. Taking a stand for you means giving what you need. It means getting through. What will happen if you don't keep your promise? What if you give it your all but fail? What if you don't give it everything you have? What if you get weak and start to wash yourself with a towel? You give in to your feelings. Then what? An awful lot of people give up. They get angry and think, what the heck? They then go back to what they were doing before because they think it doesn't work. Here's what I think. First, yes, that does happen. So you are fully responsible for it. Take responsibility for it. There's no need to explain why you gave in or didn't follow through. No matter what it is, just own it, take the flak, and stand up inside yourself. The next step is to look at the situation. How did you get here? What happened that you lost it and gave up? What took place? What was going on? You see, I used to go on diets, but now I've decided to live a healthy life for good. I used to eat anything that wasn't moving until midnight on Sunday. I would get up on Monday and eat fruit for breakfast. For lunch, I would cook grilled chicken, carefully peel off the skin, eat the chicken, and then eat the skin. After 5 sets, I would look in the mirror and give up because my stomach doesn't look like a washboard or one of Avon Haley's dances. And I ask, what's the point? Following this, I go to the fridge and eat cold food while standing in the fridge. Since I knew where I went wrong, I knew I couldn't have junk food in the house. That had to go, so I did. Next, I learned that I couldn't drive down all the streets. I changed my route because of this. I stopped taking people to lunch or dinner because I couldn't watch them eat. When I had to go talk somewhere and they were eating, I told them to call me downstairs when it was my turn, because if I sat at the table and looked at them, the food would call my name. I know this too. So I had to start making sure I wasn't putting myself in a situation where I could back out of my promise. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I started to plan my moves and stay away from situations where I knew I would lose my strength. Something else I do when I break my promise. Either I give up something or I make a trade. If someone takes advantage of me, I make myself do 25 more sets or walk for 15 or 20 minutes longer because someone put a hammerlock on my head and said, come over here. You may need to give up something or make a trade-off. Do something that will make up for it. Also start over. Start. What? You hit the ground hard. What? Start over. Take what you've learned and start over. Don't give up. Don't make the choice to be unhappy, broke, sick, or in a relationship that doesn't make you happy for the rest of your life. Having to do a job that you hate for the rest of your life. Not being creative is something you need and should have in your life. It makes you feel good. Don't sin like that. You're a real person. Don't give your life away like that. The world doesn't value your life enough. You've got something to offer. You can give something. So what if you promise to do something and then fail miserably, failing as badly as everyone else? Be present. This is good. Today is life, the very life of life. In its short path are all the truths and realities of life. There is happiness in growth, beauty in action, and pride in power. For today is just a thought, and yesterday was just a dream. But if you live today well, every day tomorrow will be full of hope, and every day yesterday will be full of dreams of happiness. So, take a good look at today. If we make that promise, let's see if we can start to enjoy where we are, to live our lives as they really are, where we are, to do everything we can now. Forget about what you did wrong yesterday. Forget about all the things you did wrong yesterday. Don't think about what you don't have. It's not important. Right now is the only thing we have. Now. And I tell you that life is asking you to do that. The optimists have a statement that they try to live by. I believe this to be true because I believe in them. I also like that it says promise yourself. I changed it from promise to commit yourself because I believe that word has more power than promise. It says to make a promise to be so strong that nothing can bother your peace of mind. To tell everyone you meet about health, happiness, and wealth. All of your friends feel like they have something inside them. To always see the bright side of things and see your hopes come true. To only think about the best things. To expect and work for the best. To be just as happy for other people's successes as you are for your own. Not to think about the mistakes you made in the past and move on to bigger and better things in the future. Keep a positive attitude at all times and smile at every live thing you see. To work on getting better so much that you don't have time to judge other people. To be too big to worry, too good for anger, too strong for fear, and too happy to let trouble come into your life. Promise yourself these things. Isn't that strong? That's a big promise to keep with your life. Do something to push yourself and get out of your comfort zone. You shouldn't worry about what other people think about you because they are already thinking about it. Do not fret about what they may say. It's already being said. Why should you care? Choose to believe that your life is very important to the world. Choose to share what you have. That's the reason you're here. You didn't just show up, you brought something with you. You're going somewhere. There is a goal or mission you need to reach, carry out, experience, or apply. Make up your mind to be an adventurer in life. Watch what's going on around you. You should ask yourself, where in my life do I need to make a difference right now? What is it that could be bad for your health? The goal could be to feel better. Maybe to make a change in the world around you. That could be it. Where is it? I say that dedication shows up, and the person who has been working on an idea or dream for a long time, but no one believed them or saw it for them, telling them they weren't good at it. If someone built a figure of them, they would call their name and know who it is. They were never on the newspaper's front page, but they had something that was theirs, a baby, something they cared about and loved. They did the best they could with the things God gave them. With their hope, you can see commitment. There are also people who are ready to give themselves a chance, who look at their lives and say, I know. I'm sure this can't be the end of my life. I'm aware of what I need to do. I'm not sure now, or maybe you do know. You might know and have just talked yourself out of it. I get that because I'm late. No. Things go the way they should. That's when I got the guts to make a promise. I wasn't really serious before, and I chose that it took me a while to get the guts to commit because it scared me so much. I get why you're dealing with it. I wish I could say I've done this for 20 years. I haven't. Just glad I made up my mind to be committed before I left. And decide right now where you are that you are going to give your life and let it show in your effort. Let it come through in what you share. And no matter what promise you make, keep it as if it were your own. Do what you say and be honest. Use what you have to make what you put out there. Again, thank you very much for being aware. Leslie Calvin Brown, daughter of Miss Mamie Brown, says it's been a pleasure and an honor to be his baby boy. I want you to remember this. Tough times do not last, but tough people do. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to grow stronger, wiser, and more resilient. It's in the darkest moments that the brightest stars shine, and it's through overcoming adversity that you discover the depth of your own strength. Think about the toughest times you faced and how you've managed to come through them. Each of those experiences has equipped you with valuable lessons and inner strength that you can draw upon whenever you need. Remember, you have faced challenges before and you have overcome them. You are capable of doing it again. As you leave here today, carry with you the determination to rise above your challenges. Surround yourself with supportive people who uplift you. Seek out inspiration and motivation, and never lose sight of your goals. When tough times come, face them with courage and the knowledge that you have what it takes to overcome them. Thank you for joining me on this journey of resilience and empowerment. Let's continue to support and encourage each other as we navigate the challenges of life. The time is now. Embrace your struggles, find your inner strength, and rise above the tough times. You have the power, the resilience, and the determination to overcome anything that comes your way. Believe in yourself. Keep moving forward and watch as you transform your challenges into triumphs. You can do it, and you will do it. The journey of overcoming tough times begins now.